recording. I am recording. So good morning. We're talking about my favorite objection handling. And of course, we're going to talk about handling seller's objections, which have gotten interesting. Would you guys agree? We've had some new takes on some new seller objections. They're really the same old objections. They've just gotten a little more interesting, right, with the market. So first I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look a little bit at, to remind us, not that one, on what an objection is. People get freaked out by objections, which crack me up. But an objection truly is simply a request for more information. They're not saying no to you. They're saying, tell me more. That's all it is. So don't get freaked out when people are like, you know, asking for things. And there's two types of objections, guys. We know that, right? One is just stalling. And one is a real condition. Does anybody give me an example of a stall? I have to talk to my wife about it. It could be a stall, but it could also be a condition. Because what if he really cannot purchase or she cannot purchase without the wife, right? So it could be a condition. So what is a true condition? I cannot purchase because my credit is 520. That is a condition, right? I cannot sell my home because I really have nowhere else to go. Unfortunately, today, that is a real condition that we have to work with, right? So there are real objections, but then there's stalls. And a stall is something that they just throw at you to throw you off. Well, I don't know if the yard is big enough. That's a stall, right? Well, I don't really know if you have the right marketing to get the job done. Oh, that's a total stall if the dog in the house, right? So there are different things that'll be stalls. They're just throwing smoke screens at you. And then there's things that are true conditions. I cannot move until I know if I'm actually being transferred or not, right? That's a stall. I mean, that's a stall. That's an objection. That's a real true condition. Okay, everybody clear on that? Okay, so here's the steps to handling an actual objection. You've got to know these. You've got to get them really into your whole mindset. Know them. In the middle of the night, if you wake me, I will do these. This is just part of who I am. So the first step is you've got to hear it. And that seems so stupid and easy. It is the hard one. It's the hard one for me. It's a hard one for anyone who is a true objection handler. Anyone like myself who's highly trained, any builder rep who's highly trained. Oh man, you put us together, me and a builder rep. This is the tough one for us because we know the answer. So we're chomping at the bit to jump in and say it, but you can't do that because listen, we've heard all of these objections a billion times. So throw me an objection, Christine, say anything at me.
Oh,
anything. Doesn't matter, buyer, seller, it doesn't matter.
It's not the right time of year for me.
It's not the right time of year for me. Okay, I haven't heard that one.
I actually heard it the other day. Someone said it's not a good time.
I need
a summer person, not a winter person.
Okay, that one actually I'd have to stop and really think about. Someone throw a normal one at me. That one I don't even have to fake hearing.
Hearing is, I have a couple I'm working with. They think the market is going to slow down and get better. That's their.
Okay, I think the market's going to slow down and get better. I know what I'm going to say about that one, right? So I want to just jump in and be like, right? But if I do that, now they feel like I didn't pay attention to them. I've just belittled what they're thinking. So what I do, because I already know all the things I'm going to say, which is terrible, I have to sit there and I count to 5. 1, 2. But instead of counting like that, I go, I will lean forward. I pretend I'm actively listening because I truly have to do that. Because I'm that person who's like, let me out of my stall. I want to run. Got this. Okay, if you're like me, you've got to do that. Pretend. If
I
you
don't
fake
have to do
it.
that. I have to actually think about it.
Okay, so that is the hearing it. Cushion it. Okay, this is the cushion it. I can see how that would be important to you. I can appreciate how that must feel. You know what? What is not a cushion it? Oh, absolutely, I can agree with that. Don't ever agree. Once you've agreed, you're done. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, that's true. The market's going to drop. Well, how are you going to beat that now? Sure, the market will drop. But when? Like, So that's a bad way to start. You never, never, never agree, right? I can see how that could be important to you. I can see how you may be thinking that way. Okay. So, but now you've got to really get to the heart of what the question is. Because if you answer the first thing off the top, most of the time you're answering the wrong question. And this is where people end up playing tennis. This objection, that objection, this objection. You ever feel like that? You feel like you're playing tennis?
Yeah.
It's because you didn't get to the right objection first. You just answered the first thing that came out of their mouth. You went for it. You took the bait. You can't do that. You got to ask questions. So to make sure I understand you, help me understand for the sake of clarity, if I'm hearing you correctly, I like to always say, so to make sure I really understand what you're saying here, you're concerned that the market is going to drop. When do you think and how do you think that's going to happen? Tell me a little more about that. Right? You need to know what they're talking about. Do you think that suddenly tons of homes are going to come on the market? Do you think suddenly the prices are going to drop? Like that's what you want to get them talking about, but you can't say that. Don't put that in their mind. You got to get to them to get to that point, right? Because a lot of times they're going to throw the stalls at you first. And you're going to bite on every stall. And then you're going to be handling all these false objections. By the way, the real objection is money. Okay, let's be honest. And if you're handling timing and you're handling backyard size and you're handling kitchen and you're handling mama's not moving yet and you're handling all these other things, you've never even gotten to the real objection. So that's why you have to question it. Now, sometimes one real objection could lead to another one. That's true, but you've got to get to the real heart of it, and you'll never do that unless you question it. Everybody good with that? After you've done that, now you can answer it. Okay. So it's really, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's really the fact that you really feel it's not that a lot of homes are going to come on the market, but you feel that the prices are going to drop because of the appraisal. You think that really this appraisal situation is going to get worse. And so you think that sellers are somehow going to become more realistic. Well, that might be normal if we didn't have all the, oh my gosh. Alejandro has walked in the room. Mic drop. Okay, so you obviously don't think that suddenly all these homes are going to appear out of nowhere on the market. I can appreciate that, but you are thinking that suddenly the prices are going to start to drop because you're feeling as if the appraisal situation is going to get worse because the banks are going to get concerned with the markets, tightening up and the interest rates rising. So you think they're going to get a little bit more credit concerned, and therefore you think that they're going to tighten up on the appraisal. So the prices are going to get tighter and they're going to come down. That's what you're thinking. Is that correct? Well, that would maybe make sense, except for the fact that we have such an influx of buyers coming from New York, New Jersey, and mostly California that are cash buyers. So therefore we know that, and the sellers are aware of these cash buyers that you're up against in those multiple offers, that they don't need to drop their price. They're just going to take them from the cash buyers. So do you see that even if that were becoming an issue with the appraisals, the cash buyers don't care? Right? So I answered that, right? Now, can I move on?
I've been getting a lot of people who are like, they're upset they didn't buy 2 years ago and they're thinking about it. Now it's up like 400,000 and they think the price is going to drop. But I don't think they're dropping because we're getting all these cash offers.
Exactly.
And how do you convince these people who have cash but they missed out 2 years ago?
Well, Chloe, that's a new objection, but let me finish this one. Yeah, we'll get there. But you see what I'm saying? So now I've answered that, right? But I can't just leave it. I have to confirm that I've answered that question to the right thing. So now there's some techniques we're going to do about answering the questions, ways to do it, and then you can confirm it. Susan, so does that make sense to you that even if the appraisal situation did continue, that the sellers are probably not going to be dropping their prices because we have so many cash buyers still moving here from other areas?
You kind of going out there where there's only one answer.
Well, yeah, you're the buyer or the seller, right?
To agree.
Right. Well, exactly. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Right. And now, of course, because I've just kind of backed you into the corner, right?
Yeah.
That's why I did that. And now I can't leave it. I've got to close on it. So with that said, are you ready to move forward today? before you miss any further opportunities of perhaps even having less opportunity, less inventory, and more buyers from California coming with more cash, leaving less opportunity for you. Ready to move forward?
And yet you put them in a corner once again.
Of course.
When
She said I put him in a corner again. Yes, that's our job. Yes. But you see what I'm saying, guys? So that is the steps. You hear what they're saying, even if you have to count through it, which I do. You cushion it. I can see how that could be important. I don't agree, because agreeing, you'll never be able to fight back from that. If you agree with them, you're dead. That's the cushioning it. You question it. But let me make sure I'm understanding it. Like, let me make sure I'm really getting what you're saying. Okay. Then once I really get to the true objection, which in your case, Amanda, is you're pissed.
Right.
The true objection is you're pissed, and I can't help you with that. So Amanda, let me just make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You're really saying to me that you're just upset that you missed the market. Is that right? You wish that you had bought 2 years ago, which I can appreciate. I wish that I had bought into the internet when I heard that this thing called the internet was coming around, because I could have been a .com billionaire. I'm pissed too. But you know what is the best thing? Knowledge. I know now I'm not going to be that person wishing again. And you know now that this is not something that's going to go away, because you know that these buyers are still coming from California, that these buyers are still coming from New York, and these buyers are still coming with cash. So you are armed with the decision right now and the choice to be having the opportunity to still get in this market and still get a home, and being in 2 years sitting there saying, yes, I may not have gotten it 2 years before, but I got in still with a great opportunity. Or even matter that you had the opportunity and you really blew it.
Mhm.
So what do you think about that? How would you feel 2 years from now? Do you want to be the one smiling about it or really mad? Which would you prefer to be?
Smiling.
Right. So what do you think? Let's get you going and put that offer in today. Right? Those are the steps. Does that make sense? So you just got to answer the real question. The real answer was she's just mad. She's just pissed. We're all pissed about something, right? Let's be honest. Okay, so do we all feel comfortable? Now let's go through just a couple ways that we can answer some different objections, right? There's some techniques that we can use to do it. Any questions so far? Okay, first of all, you have to neutralize their objection, right? So you never, first of all, want to be combative. That is the number one mistake people make when they handle objections. They try to make the other person feel stupid. That is awful. Never do that, right? You have to get them on your side. You have to make them feel good. How are you going to convince them that your decision is the right decision when you made them feel like an idiot? Right now, they're just going to be mad and not want to walk away, right? So you have to neutralize that objection. So here's a couple ways to do that. One is reduce to the ridiculous. This is a great way. Now, this is usually used, you'll appreciate this one. This is very simplistic. This is one about price, right? This is usually used when there's two homes of different prices and you can simply break it down to simple numbers. So this one is like, say it's $15,000 difference. You say, look, what's $15,000? You're going to get a mortgage, right? It's going to be over 30 years. So let's just talk about that. You just take your calculator. You say, okay, let's do it. Let's do the math together. So say $15,000 different. Now you could do this with the person who's pissed. Now you want to buy a home now. No. Now you're going to buy a home and you're afraid about interest rates rising. You're afraid about all these different things, but you could get in a home here today and it's maybe a little bit more than you want to spend, right? But how much more is more? Because if you get in today before the interest rates rise, maybe you're paying a little bit more, but you could be saving. So let's see what more looks like. I mean, we're talking about what? 15 grand more, but it's over 30 years. So let's just look at that. So 15,000, but it could be 20,000, whatever. This is just a simplistic one. Okay, so you say 15,000, you divide it by 30 years, right? That's about $500 a year. Now there's 12 months in a year. And, we have 30 to 31 days. Let's just say 30 days. So for $1.38, which we definitely can't buy a cup of coffee with that, you're going to get the home you want. Now, how much did you say that home that you wanted changed in cost now? It's $100,000. 200 more. So 200 more. So if you wait, maybe another,
It was in Claremont too, so I mean.
well, that's gone.
prices
But-
are-
But now, if you wait again, it could go up another 200 more, right? So which one do you want? You want the one for two, like it's what, how much is it now? 500? 700. Okay, can you afford 700? You feel comfortable with 700? Okay, but you're comfortable with 700. Okay, and could you go 750? Make sure you get it. Are you concerned about the 50 grand? You don't even have to do this, but let's say you said yes. So let's
Exactly.
50 grand.
Good. You need anyone, anyone anyways.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's look at 50 grand. Let's divide that by 30 years. Let's divide that by 12 months, and let's divide that, right, 50 grand divided by, I hit my phone. When I do the calculator, by 30 years, divide that by 12 months, divide that by 30. Oh, for a cup of coffee, $4.62 a day. You could be in that home you want for sure. Is it worth maybe going to Wawa instead of Starbucks? Wawa has good coffee too. You see what I'm saying? You reduce it to the ridiculous. That's the point of reducing to the ridiculous. It works great with numbers. Everybody clear with that? Okay, dilute it. This is a good thing. In the grand scheme of things, are you really ready to walk away? Okay, great. You feel like you've lost 200 grand, but you didn't buy it, right? And if you don't buy it right now, you may lose another 200 grand. So in the grand scheme of things, is your bank account in the same condition as it was 2 years ago? You haven't lost anything, right? It's exactly the same. But if you don't buy anything, will it be in the same condition it was in 2 years? Yeah, right? Because you essentially didn't do anything. So in 2 years, it'll be exactly the same. So do you want to just be the same, or do you want to potentially be 200 grand ahead? Right? So you have still the chance to be potentially 200 grand ahead. Do you want to take that chance now? See, now you turn it to positive, right? It's by diluting it. It's like reframing the situation. It's a dilute to reframe. Does that make sense? Okay, this is my favorite. Honestly, if you woke me up in the middle of the night, I'd probably go to this one. You should not have to think about it. The feel, felt, found. Who knows this one? You want to try it?
Sure.
Okay, so here, let's put you on the screen. Well, because they can't hear you.
Okay.
You could pick anyone, any example, any objection that you're handling. It doesn't matter.
I understand how you feel. I once could identify that I felt that way, but I have found that if you do this, you can overcome what you're talking
That's exactly a definite textbook of how that is.
Right.
The feel, felt, found. I will recommend, though, you never make it about yourself. And sad to say, no one cares about you.
True.
Yesterday, everyone cared about me. Thank you. But in general, nobody cares about you. So just get over that. Okay.
I have another customer that felt the same way.
Yes, it's always about a customer, and never say the customer. Make up the names. I always use my cousins Sue and Tom, just because Sue and Tom always come out. I don't know why, but Sue and Tom. It's so
Are they even
funny.
real?
Yeah, it's my
Oh.
cousin Sue.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I know
Sue-
you're really good though. so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to
But
ask
Sue
you.
and Tom, they always just came out of my mouth, and I don't know why. I never even told Sue and Tom I always use them, but it just was easy names, that they always came out. Yeah, Sue and Tom. Sue's a nurse. Tom was a policeman, and then he became a bus driver after he retired. They were just easy to talk about, right? But the stories were actually never about Sue and Tom. I just used their names. But sometimes I'd throw in that she was a nurse and he was a policeman, and so it just worked really well. But it would be real stories about other people, but I'd never remember the people's names.
Right.
So I'd throw in Sue and Tom. Yeah. So my stories would get a little convoluted because, it'd be like, who really was it? Who cares? It's always Sue and Tom. It doesn't matter. Because me, I'm like, what the hell was their name? Sue and Tom. There it is. Didn't matter. Nobody cares really what their name is. It's not the point. But the point is, it was other people. It's not me. Because if it's me, I'm the salesperson trying to tell you what to do. We're on opposite sides now, and now it's a sales job. That's how they think about it. But if I am sharing a story about someone else, it's this other person. Oh, wow, that's what happened to them. It's a totally different scenario, right? So what's your customer's name? The person's pissed. You know, Lou, it's so funny that you say that. I had customers, Sue and Tom, I just saw them the other day. You know, they actually felt, I always see them. They felt the same way. You know, they too wanted to buy. They missed the bubble themselves, as they called it. They missed their grand opportunity, and they were so upset about it. But they bought, it was actually about 6 months ago, and they were mad. They almost didn't buy. Tom was just, he's a policeman, he's got a temper on him, and he's like, I'm not going to buy. And Sue's like, I love the house, Tom, please, we have to buy. So Sue won, and they bought the house. And I actually went over, and they are so happy. They're all moved in, and they love it. But you know what? Tom said, so glad Sue made me do it, because not only has our value gone up like $75,000 in 6 months, so he's happy, but I've never seen Sue happier. And now she's cooking for me again. Truth be told, he put on like 15 pounds, and they're just the happiest ever. Feel, felt, found. You know somebody who felt, you know, I know how you feel. You know somebody who felt the same way, and this is what they found. It's good if you can add humor into the story. Did Tom gain weight? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. Sue is a good cook. Did I totally make the story up? Absolutely. So if you're good at improv, it helps. But the truth is, we all have real stories that we know. So you just lean to the real stories if you know. And if you can't remember the names, just make them up. It's irrelevant. But the feel, felt, found works all the time. Just never make it about yourself. Okay, we're all good with that? And then you just confirm on it, right? But you can't stop there. You got to close. If you don't close, you've missed the opportunity. The point of handling the objection was to clear the confusion. That's why you confirmed. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Great. So let's go ahead and get your home on the market. Let's go ahead and put that offer in. Let's go ahead. What was it that you're there for? You're not there just to handle the objection. You're there to either help them buy or sell a home, right? That's the ultimate reason you're there. That's what you got to close on. Don't miss the closing opportunity. And by the way, if you think you should close once and you're done, you haven't been doing this very long. You have to close all the way, right? Every time there's a series of closings that have to happen all along the way. So you might have to say, so let's go ahead and get ready to put an offer in. You have to close them on that. Then you're gonna have to close them on how much down payment. Then you're gonna have to, like, right? Like, there's like gonna be a bunch of closings that are gonna have to happen the whole way through. You have to close them on the reason why he's gonna wanna have a very quick closing or whatever it is, right? We have to close them on everything. Because what closings are is to get them past their own self. They are frustrated. They are nervous. They are confused. And when that happens, they don't want to make a decision, right? That's what happens with people. So that's why we have closing techniques. It's to help them get out of their own way, because they didn't contact us to just do nothing, right? They didn't say, oh, well, just, let me know when you're ready. I mean, we're not order takers, right? I mean, they didn't contact us just to go ahead and write up a contract. They contacted us to be their real estate advisors, right? I mean, not just to go ahead and say, oh, just let me know what you want. They don't know. No buyer truly knows, unless they buy all the time, what a real offer is. And even if they buy all the time, do they know what a real offer is right now in this market? Do they know what's really going to get through the multiple offers? No. That's why they need us. So if you think you're helping them by not saying anything and not pushing them, that's not really helping them. I'm not saying pushing them in a bad way. I'm saying pushing through their confusion, and they're wanting to just stay silent because they're really just concerned they don't know what they want to do. And that's just fear. Yeah. You have to sometimes remind them, hey guys, I know it's stressful. I know. I've been there myself. It's funny. And then sometimes you can tell your own story. When I bought my own home, my kids were driving me insane. They were 2 years old. They had us at the builder model. They were upstairs in the ball pit running around. We had to make a plane. The builder's rep was trying to get us to sign this paperwork. I couldn't even read it. You know how I feel about contracts. It was a problem for me. But my husband kept saying, just sign the damn papers. And I'm like, it was horrifying. I understand. Even I have been there. But that's why I'm here for you to help guide you through this process. So let's go through it again. Right? You got to bring them back sometimes. That's the point of what we do. Right?
Stacy said in the comments, help me help you.
Help me help you. How do you see the? Oh, you're in another spot. Okay, guys, good. Oh, good. You're my liaison. My coffee is over here.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
I shall take
There's
a
a lid.
Then there's a lid.
It's not sticky.
Yeah.
It's closed.
Not Tony.
Poor Tony. He's like, I'll never do that again. Okay. Are we all good with that? Are we ready to try some? Everyone's like, hell to the no. Okay. That means yes, Carrie. We love nothing but closing. Oh, let's talk a little bit about the differences between trial closes and tie downs. Do we know there's differences, right?
No.
Yeah. A trial close is you're testing to see where they're at. It's like a temperature gauge, right? A tie down is we're just trying to go, isn't it? Shouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Couldn't it? That's the tie down. So the trial close, that does make sense to you, doesn't it? That is what you had in mind, wasn't it? Yes, this is the type of communication you were looking for. We're trying to get those informational pieces to see if they're ready to do the real close. But the tie downs, wasn't it? Shouldn't it? Couldn't it? So those trial closes, wow, this is the kitchen you were looking for, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is exactly the kind of garage that your husband was explaining to me, isn't it? Yes. Those lead to the final, oh my gosh, this is exactly the home for you, isn't it? Yes. And that's like the culmination close. Those are really, really fun. But the trial closes are more exploratory. Does this make sense to you? Well, it kind of does, but I'm a little bit concerned it could go into an objection, right? Sometimes we want the objections. Remember, you are seeking objections early on through the process. Same in your listing presentation. You don't want to wait to the end, dear God, and at the end say, is there anything that would keep you from listing with me here today? You know how I feel that one. Is there something that you think our company would be missing if we? I hate those. Those are all stupid. Don't do anything negative and don't do a yes or no. Because you never want them to say no. So why give them 50% chance to do that? It's like retarded, right? Don't do that. So you have to make sure that you're but it's true.
I just got a listing this morning and I the last thing I said to him was, are we ready to do this? Because I answered all the questions and he was like, yes, so I'll be sending that over to you.
You're looking for lakefront lot.
Excellent. Okay, so she said, are we ready to do this? Okay, he could have said no though, Susan. He could have said no. So what I would have recommended, say, great, here's the paperwork. You should have gone to an assumptive close.
I will next time.
Yep, because he could have said no. Now you're lucky he said yes, but you had 50-50 chance. So I don't like the odds. You did good though. Excellent.
So say that one more time because I want to use
Do an assumptive close.
Okay.
So great. Either you could have done the next step is, or I would have just assumed the sale and say, great, here's the paperwork and just going right in.
So just emailed you, just send it attached or send them the document.
I always come with the printed out form, get them to sign something. Or, well, did you do it online?
He's going to be online because he's Pennsylvania.
But so you were online with him?
Talking to him on the phone because I went through all his,
Great. Then I would have said, great. So I'm sending you over the documents. We're going to get this all signed. The next step is we're going to have it on the market, but just like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You never have to ask for permission to list a property. You tell them, great, we're going to get the paperwork over to you. Just tell them what's the next step is going to happen.
Well, that one, I still don't have confirmation they have it signed. I get some people.
Well, that's a little different. If we think that another agent had the listing, we have to confirm if they did or not. That's different. Yeah, no. Okay, anybody have questions? Anybody in my Zoom have questions? Anybody have it in the chat? Can anybody, I don't even have the chat open.
No one else.
Okay, that's all we have. Okay, great. So let's try this. I have some cool, let's do this momentum. These are closes. We're gonna do closes in another one. I love closes. Closes is, I think next Thursday, isn't it? Nobody knows.
You sent out 12 at one time.
Yeah.
Mary, I don't know.
I did, because I set up the whole week, the month, set the whole month up. Because I wanted everybody to know what's
Closing's
happening.
on Monday.
We're doing we're doing
Closing's
closing
Monday.
techniques on Monday.
Yeah.
Bum bum. Yes, I love that. Okay, so we're gonna do some typical objections from sellers. We're gonna handle some objections. So we have here, you don't handle many homes in our price range. We've already committed to another agent. We don't want to list a price that will get it sold in 1 week. Well, that's a tough one today. We still need to interview one more agent. We have a good friend of the business. I want to find a house before I put mine on the market. That's a real one today. Or any new one that you have heard. Anybody in the Zoom can suggest one, or anybody here can suggest one. I would love to have 2 volunteers. We'd love to break up the room into groups and have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Alejandro, Val, April, and Maria, one group. Amanda, Susan, Christine, Beverly, another group. Guys, get together. You've got the A group and the B group, or whatever you guys want to call yourselves.
Get together.
Get together. Let's get together. Okay. Parent trap, love it.
Should we break up those groups?
It doesn't matter. So what's gonna happen is, what group are you guys gonna be? Okay, this is where the Zoom part's gonna get a little funky, so we're gonna put it like this. So people on Zoom, I don't know, it's gonna get a little weird, but we're gonna do the best we can. All right, so you guys are gonna be what group? Who are you gonna call yourselves? So sad. Who are you guys gonna be? I think we have Ninja. Soon to be Ninja. I got the ninjas. And who are you guys gonna be? You're the only ninja. The derelicts?
I said daredevil. I don't know what she heard.
I don't know.
Where did that go?
I don't know. I just do not know. Okay. So I'm gonna come down here because I feel like we're like making do that. Okay, I don't know where that came from. All right, we'll put 2 chairs. I need 1 more chair. Can I swap your chair out with something? All right. But you can grab sit next to Val or something. Sorry, because
Well, I can use this.
I need 2 chairs here because I think they'll be able to see them. You just gotta move down over here though, because I'm trying to get so that can the Zoom people see these 2 chairs?
The zoomies.
Oh, here. I'm trying to do this in between. Huh? I don't know. It's like a pain. Here, hold on, here. I hate Zoom. Love you people. I hate Zoom. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's the best we can do, people on Zoom. Trying to cure, including.
Can't see the 3 of them.
Well, we don't need to see them. We just need to see these 2 people.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Huh? Oh, it's like that. Go up here.
Hot seat.
Seriously, Amanda?
That's so far away.
Okay. So, what did we call ourselves? I don't know.
Daredevils.
Daredevils.
I almost said derelict.
We got the ninjas. Woo-hoo! And the daredevil. Okay. Who is going to, does everybody have a quarter on them or some kind of a nickel dime? Okay. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna pick a number from 1 to 10. Whoever gets the number closest will get to throw the objection. Ready? You have one? Oh, she has one. All right, so you guys want heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay. It is tails. You guys get to throw the objection first. Don't worry, you're both gonna get to do it. Oh, sorry. Who are you?
It went right into the thing.
Okay. So you get to throw the objection first, which means that you get to pick this one or a different one. And then if somebody on the Zoom wants to throw it in, you get to pick which objection it is and tell them. And then you all can help. Who's going to be the person who's going to handle the objection? Alejandro's hiding. He just tried to, he doesn't want to do
Fine,
it.
I'll do it. Cause I have this, I know I'm meeting a seller and I want to find a house before, but it's gonna come out. Cause I talked to him about it yesterday. So I know it's gonna come out. Yeah, throw it, so I can handle it.
Do I want to sit here?
Okay, we got Amanda from the Ninja. No, it's okay. And we got Alejandro.
Well, then how does my team help me?
Well, okay, go back over. And you can discuss it. You have a minute to discuss strategies amongst yourselves.
So, but wait, which one are we throwing? The last
You're gonna,
one?
I wanna find a house before I put mine on the market.
There's
What do you do?
there, and then
This is one of my favorites. That's when I go back and
the
get it.
front one.
Yeah, the friend one. Yeah.
You know, most of these friends don't know anything. Right, and like, why am I here?
That's right. When you have a listing to show versus house, they, oh, I have my agent write it up. When you call them, when they call, are you working with somebody? Exactly. And you show them, and then all of a sudden, mystery agent.
Like I'm Jupiter. Yeah. Like you're not even in our MLS. I'm like, can you send me a link? Oh, like I don't have access to the MLS. Like I don't know what that like.
Yeah.
Didn't have a super key. Can't pay $17 a month. Kidding me? But it is simple, I turned twice.
You know, like I just more licenses.
Okay, Amanda, all right, come on. You're on the Amanda, okay, here's the rules.
Yeah.
The rules are, there are no rules. No, just kidding. Just kidding. So we want to focus on the steps. So the steps are on the screen. You want to hear it, cushion it, question it, answer, confirm, and close. I'm leaving them on there.
We're just going straight.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
The whole point is, you have to do those things
Okay.
because you might not get to the right thing. Because what, she may not go right to the whole truth of what, that she doesn't feel that, why, maybe that's not, maybe that is her true objection that she wants to find a house, but maybe she'll start somewhere else. You don't know. She's throwing objection. You don't know. You know, because she told you, because we're being very nice about it, but that you know the truth of it, but you may have to work hard to get there, right?
Okay.
Okay, now, the other thing is, if we need help, we can say time out and you can call in a lifeline from your team.
Okay.
Okay? Did you guys hear that? He can call time out 3 times and call in a lifeline to his team.
3 times.
3 times. 3 times for a lifeline.
Make it cross.
All right. This is a friendly competition. Okay.
Susan's gonna be in the hot seat on there.
I love her.
All right. And go ahead. You're, wait, one more thing. So you're at a listing presentation. Yeah, I should
Yeah, we
probably
need some
go back.
context here.
You're at a listing presentation. You're at the end of the presentation.
Okay.
You are the seller, you are the agent, right? Now, anything that you say, remember when I said blah, 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 you assume it's true. So if you said, well, remember I'm going to New York or whatever, anything that you say is assumed to have been true, it's assumed to have already been explained. So you can't say, well, you didn't say that. No, that's not fair. The rules are if you say it, we assume that you already went over it. Remember in the pulse report or whatever you want to say, you can say that it's already been done. We're going to assume it was true, okay? So you're at the end of the listing presentation. You have already asked, or if you want to ask for when you want to get started, or you can assume that you've already asked that, and she comes with the objection. So you can either ask for, hey, let's get started, or you can assume that you did, and you can get however you want to do that.
Okay, cool. So, Amanda, so we've gone over the marketing, everything that we've done, you obviously you like our Sotheby's brand in our market, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So I actually do have the listing presentation here with me and just. You gotta go to the objection. That's not the objection. So I did bring it with me, and if you're ready, we can go forward and sign the listing agreement right now and get your home on the market.
Well,
How
I
do you feel about that?
can't do that
Okay, so why do you feel that you can't do that?
because I have kids in school and I'm not listing it and being homeless, like, where am I gonna go?
Okay, I hear you on that. And
So
what,
where am I gonna go?
well, that's a good point. That's actually a good point that you say. Have you picked an area of where you want to go? Do you
No.
have anything in mind? No? Okay. So basically, from what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I'm hearing, you're a little bit scared of putting your home on the market because you don't have any place to go or you haven't found a home. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So don't you think that if you do put your home on the market right now, what we could do, we have in Sotheby's, and hear me out. What we do have here in Sotheby's, we have what's called private placement. And within a private placement, we can have everything ready for your home. Marketing photos, the marketing for the property, everything just ready and set to go. In the meantime, it allows us to market your property privately only to our agents. And in the meantime, allows us to find you a property. That way, when we find you the perfect home, your home is ready to be put onto the market right there and then. Just mixing of two worlds, best for you and your family. And I get that your kids are in school and I understand that. I don't have kids, but I have a nephew and I understand how it is with, taking kids from one place to the other. They get really, really missing their friends and everything like that. But at the same time, this allows you to, again, get your home on the market without being the crazy market right now, only marketing to our agents, finding the perfect home.
So how does private placement work?
Great question. So how
Like,
private
who's
placement
gonna know
works?
about it? It's gonna be on Zillow.
No, it doesn't do the marketing. Yeah, I love that. It doesn't.
Actually,
It doesn't hit the market until it's basically only for our agents. So we're able to still get your
So what's
your
the
property
rise
out
on it?
there. Well, it doesn't get to the general market itself, again, only to our Sotheby's
But
agents.
someone can still buy it.
Correct. So,
And I'd be homeless.
well, yes. But no, okay.
Technically, yes.
Yes, on.
Couldn't you say, well, we control when the closing date will be
Okay.
on the contract?
Or
right?
even if you accept it.
Or like a red flag or something, right?
Or if we make a very long closing date.
Or a
we
post
make-
occupancy agreement.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, great. Thank you. So in that case, if, for example, let's say that the property does sell, especially in this market, it's probably gonna happen, to be honest with you. But if that case, if that
Wait,
happens.
time out, Smith. The property only sells, Amanda, if you choose to accept an offer.
On private placement?
I'm
Anywhere.
writing
Any,
this.
okay.
You are the owner of the property, so therefore, sure, we can get an offer because your home's beautiful. But it will only sell it if you choose to accept not only the price but the term. And since it's with our Sotheby's agents who are all top professionals, we will be able to negotiate the best terms for you. that we would-
We didn't ask for that lifeline.
I was thinking.
You cheated.
Well, backing up to what Carrie said, yes, so we basically, we can control basically, the terms of the contract, whether, you do a post occupancy agreement, how long the closing, to give you a little bit more time to find you that house and have that sell process go seamlessly. So are you ready to sign today?
Well, no, but it sounds really good.
And what is stopping you now from
Well,
not
my
signing
husband needs
today?
to sign it.
Okay, well, let's assume that your husband was already here.
He could have already signed it.
Well, as Carrie said, basically, not anything that we said, let's assume that your husband's already here.
Okay.
So your husband is actually on board. What is stopping you from signing now?
And I'm not moving, but that's a whole other story.
Oh,
So it sounds to me that you really don't want to, is that correct?
Well, that's-
Okay, well then I guess I can't really help you then. If you don't Your husband seems to want to move, but if you don't want to move, there's really nothing that I can do. Unless if that's not the true objection of you wanting to sell. Is it something more emotional connection to the home, or you just don't really want to move and make a bigger house, more room for your kids,
Yeah, more clean.
Okay.
Clean?
So more to clean for that then. I mean, my job is here to get your home on the market, find you another property for you and your family. That's, you will have fun in and not have to clean so much. But there's really nothing that I can do to help you if, you don't want to move, so. Lifeline, I don't know what.
Anybody?
This one, so.
Anybody?
I'm done with you. I'm
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Why are you wasting my time?
Right.
Next question, man. Next question. Just out of curiosity, what was made you reach out to me today and have me come here in your home?
Well, I need a rec room and I need an in-house gym and more storage.
So let me ask you, if we were able to find you that home that had a rec room, an in-house gym and storage, would you be happy to move?
Well, yeah, but I don't see it.
Of course, because we haven't started looking. So if we were able, just a curiosity, to sign up, get your home in our private placement so other people could start looking, we could try to find that home, right? But maybe we don't find it, not sell your home. And then we have those people who are interested in your home. And we were able to get you in that perfect home that had that gym and had that rec room and had that extra storage space that you need. Would you be happy? Let me leave. So why don't we go ahead, get this started, not make any final decisions, right? We're not saying you're selling it. We're saying give you the opportunity where you want to be. Sound good?
Great.
Sign here.
Gotta go to motivation, right? So first of all, great job.
Good job.
Yeah, great job. You or me? You've got to count to 5. You do not hear
It's
it.
very high.
Yeah, you want to jump in. He's
That's
me.
me. Yeah.
He's like, count to 5 for your hearing focus.
Okay.
Yeah. You did a good job cushioning it. That was good. The questioning it, I think you could have probably questioned deeper, but you didn't have to because you already knew her objection. But so be careful. I don't know how you would do with that. So, in a real situation, make sure you question a lot. I just don't know, but I think you did great. Answering it, one thing, don't talk. If you don't have kids, don't say you don't have kids. Right? Because to parents, we
don't
just discarded
understand.
anything you said.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. Good. It's
It's
unfair, but it's true, right? So that's
Well,
unfortunate.
you don't have to say, I don't have kids, you say, oh yeah, I understand my nephew, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't ever say, I don't have kids. I mean, it doesn't matter. Don't lie and say, I have kids. Chitlins, like,
Right.
over there, right there. Don't do that. Oh, yeah. With baby Tommy's sweet. Yeah. But you don't ever say,
Okay.
like, I'm new, right? Don't ever say I don't have kids. Don't ever say I don't know anything about downtown. Like, those are the things. You don't say negatives, but especially and never, like, if you don't have kids, never say anything about their kids because they already have really got men don't like you, right? So I know how your kids feel. You don't know how kids feel. We already don't like you. You got to be really careful. Parents are really protective of their children. We're like mama bears. It's really scary. We get like, I saw your face. You're like, I was like, ooh, she's a bad one.
Okay, let's flip the script now. Let's do them handling and us throwing.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get them now. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah, Susan, 'cause she was.
Which one are we doing? Which one are you guys throwing? Let's see it. You guys did really good though. I loved it. Here's the different ones, or you can pick another one. How did it feel? Took us a. How did it feel? Which one are you guys throwing? How did it feel? Feel good?
How about the interview one more?
Like, I just
Like,
think
it
it
was
was
fun.
fun.
I was like, no, I'm not signing that list.
Now, how about when I was asking you afterwards when you said you didn't want me?
That made more sense, because obviously I called you for a reason, like I'm saying, you have a reason.
Right.
And
You were a lot more calmer when you were talking, when you weren't like, okay.
Well, you have to be.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a woman's thing.
Yeah.
That's a power that we have. We can
Yeah.
get down
I got
and
like
really
12
try to
people that are
communicate on a deeper level. But the reality is, man or woman, they called us. I'm here for a reason. And that one comes out in a lot of them. Like I have to interview one more agent. I can appreciate that, but just out of curiosity. Or, I know, which one are you throwing?
We're doing the good friend.
Oh, there. Okay.
You want me to throw it?
Sure.
I can
Oh,
be an objection.
yeah.
No, I actually, the problem is though, as a salesperson, I'm like really easy. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll try to be
Got
mean.
something harder out there.
We need someone meaner, someone meaner to do it.
No, we're keeping it harder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, it
yeah,
makes something harder for Susan.
It can be harder. We gotta be
No,
harder.
just go
Because-
That was a pretty evil laugh, Maria.
She was shouting over there.
Yeah, I knew Beverly's got.
That was a pretty evil laugh. So now, Susan is the agent and April is the seller. And we're at the end of the listing agreement and listing conversation. And Susan, you can go ahead and ask the closing question however you'd like to.
Okay, I've never done it this way, but anyway.
Of course.
After hearing all the information I've given you, would you like to review and sign the listing agreement today so that we can get you started on your journey to your new home?
You know, Susan, I love what you've had to say, and I really like, the marketing and but my concern is like, one of my oldest friends has a real estate license. So I'm really struggling with that.
I can understand that. Does she sell locally?
Well, I mean, she does, but she doesn't seem as busy as, this is why, and then plus I have this conflict. I mean, I feel like she's gonna be mad at me if I don't use her, but yet I'm not like real sure about how busy she is, or if this will be a conflict of our friendship.
I understand what you're saying. Our company has the ability to market your property internationally, and we have different ways to find buyers for your home. I don't know if your friend is with a smaller agency, but we do have a lot of marketing that is available. If you would like to talk to your friend and then come back and speak to you, that would be great. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Lifeline.
Okay.
No.
I certainly disagree with like, if somebody's really struggling with this, they're struggling.
It
Okay,
can't be a
hold on,
struggle.
hold on,
It can't be a
hold on,
struggle
hold on.
because they
What
called
did
you.
we just say?
It can't be a struggle because they called you.
Yes. Why are you here?
Why am I
today?
here?
She called you. If she had such a great friend, why are you sitting there?
Right, that's true. You heard what she said.
Maybe she's just trying to get the marketing stuff from you to give her a friend.
No.
Yeah, I know.
What are some good ones I got for you? But go ahead.
Can you say like there's something important to you that you're still looking for, which is why you probably called me. So
Right.
what-
No. You gotta put her on the spot. I just gotta do this.
I was gonna say
Hey,
that.
April, I can hear what you're saying and I can appreciate she's a real dear friend of yours, but first of all, I'm just confused. If this is how you feel, why am I here today?
Well, I guess I just want to get a feeling for when she talks to me about the market. I would like to see how it compares to other people, because I really don't see her as a realtor because she's the friend. So I want to hear how she compares to other people.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, are you also perhaps a little concerned that this may be infringing upon your friendship? And maybe you're concerned that she may know a little bit more about your finances, and I can appreciate that. That maybe you don't want her involved in that part of your life.
Well, there is that. There is that. But then how do I extricate myself from this with grace? Because there is that. I mean, there is always that over familiarity with someone. But I don't really need, because we've got many mutual friends. And not that I think she would like tell all my business, but
They do.
Well,
They do.
unfortunately, they always say, you never do business with friends and family for a reason, because you want to keep them as your friends and family close, and we can appreciate that. And I think if they truly are your dear friends, she's gonna want to be your friend more than sell your home, because you sell a home once, but they stay your friend forever. Heartstrings.
Right.
Listen, if the friend doesn't go for that, what kind of friend is she? You don't go to marketing there, guys. Logic beats emotion. Emotion beats logic. She's coming at you with logic. You have to hit her with emotion. Right? What did we just do to her?
we neutralize this.
Yes.
I keep the earbud. Yeah, coach.
So now, we got her where we want her, Susan, so
Yes.
go.
Now that we've talked about being,
Susan,
I'm not a soft person.
but you got her at this mushy moment, you gotta move in.
Now that we've talked about your friend and we've gone over the materials.
No, that's logic.
It's logic.
Soft.
Empathy.
Okay, I'm gonna help you again.
Please help me. I am not a soft
So
person.
April, what's your friend's name? Lisa. I'm sure that Lisa would love to see you sell your home. wouldn't she? I'm sure
Maybe.
she wants to see you get the highest price for your home.
I really hope so.
She cares about you. Doesn't she?
I would hope so, yes.
Of course. She's your friend. And she would want to give you all the respect that you deserve, just like you're giving to her. So if you shared with her that you have a company standing behind you that's been around since 1744, that's going to market your home in 75 different countries and territories, finding you buyers, putting it in front of people whose average net worth is 800 million, do you think she's going to say that's a bad choice? No. So don't you think she's going to stand behind you and say, go ahead, April, and do what's right for you?
I think she would.
So let's go ahead, take that off of your plate.
Side here and here.
Exactly. And you know what? Let's have her bring the buyer. And then we can work together.
I have learned so much.
You gotta come in soft. If you go back to logic, you lost it.
And I normally go back to logic.
Yeah, you
It's just
can't.
my
You can't.
Sure,
In that
personality.
moment, you can't. You will lose it.
Well, can you also ask the question, how does my marketing compare to what she
Logic.
told you?
Logic.
No, but I mean, even before that, even before like the
You can't.
emotional
It's
part.
against the whole point.
Okay.
It's her friend. The thing is,
It's
if you
not
go
like a friend,
friend,
it's like
now
a
it's friend
friend.
against you. Yes, now we're going, you're making it combative. My car is bigger than your car. My marketing is bigger than your marketing. You can't make it that. She called you for a reason.
Right.
And if it's a friend, probably she doesn't want her friend to know about her finances. How many friends want to you show them all the stuff that you have in your finances?
Well,
and how much
sometimes
money-
your friends don't want you to be successful either.
So
Oh,
there's
serious.
a lot
Well,
of
a lot of
some
times
of them-
they know that their friend sucks at it.
and there might be that too. And this way we got around that and we didn't even have to talk about it. Because if you start saying something bad about her friend's company or the fact that she's a part-time agent, she might just go ahead and want to stand up for her friend. And now we become combative. So a better way to go about it is that soft, fuzzy way.
See, I probably would have been like, she worked part-time.
You won't get that listening that much.
You know, a lot of times I see, you know, like in
They got a lot of
Facebook, a lot of real estate groups, agents that'll make mention of family members or friends going with someone else, and they say, well, they're dead to me. So how would you deal with someone who, you know, have come across that, feeling like they're just gonna they're afraid to lose the friendship or the family connection? How do you deal with that?
You say, you know, that's exactly why you have to share with them. I don't want to lose our friendship or a family connection. So because of that, I'm going to use somebody else because I don't want anything to get in the way of our family.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I have a kind of a related question though. I had somebody who has a connection to another realtor, and now because of through a business association. But one still teased me. He goes, would you guys partner?
Absolutely. I'd love them to bring the buyer.
Yeah.
Well, I just said no.
No, you can't.
I
You
said no.
can't.
I
You
said,
have to
I
be
said-
positive. Absolutely. I'd love them to bring the buyer. Let them get in touch with me. We can do together so we can help them bring the buyer. That'd be great.
But how do you differentiate, like, how do you specifically say that, like, say without saying that you want to be the listing agent, solely the listing agent? If you say it like that, I could see them saying and thinking in their mind, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, oh, okay, like, I can, they're gonna co-list, they're gonna get in contact with co-list. So how do you like nicely?
Well, when they get in
separate that?
contact, I said, yes, you can bring the buyer. That'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, with Sotheby's, we don't co-list.
I know, but then then does she go back to her friends and well, we're really not co-listing this? I mean, she
Well,
really
you can bring
doesn't
the
want
buyer.
that.
We'll do all the listing, all the heavy lifting, and you can bring the buyer. We'll help work together so we can help give you all the materials so you can bring the buyer.
I mean, I still think it's a little bit
It's still kind of
confusing
gray.
because
Confusing
like,
for who?
I hear what you're saying, but like if I was a seller, if you're saying, you know, yeah, we can work together, they'll bring the buyer, we'll do all the heavy lifting. Some sellers might take it as, okay, well, they're still gonna co-list, and like what April said, what if they find out that they're not co-listing, then the seller comes to you and says, well, hey, I thought that you were gonna co-list with so-and-so.
I don't even think they know that terminology.
Yeah, they don't know
Yeah.
co-list.
Okay, so
They don't
No, they
know.
do for $1 million listings, different brokerages, they team up.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what it
$1 million listing is a different question.
No, I know.
If you tell me it's $1 million listing, then I would say we can absolutely co-list if it's another Sotheby's. Are they with Sotheby's? Oh, they're not with Sotheby's. Unfortunately, we can only work within Sotheby's
Okay, I see
because
what you're saying.
Sotheby's marketing is
Okay.
completely different than on the
So
other.
essentially, you could possibly just use that for a generic kind of
Right,
response.
Right. If we're in the $300,000 range, I mean, they don't know what a co-list is. If you're in $1 million range, say absolutely. Are they with Sotheby's?
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. We can only do it with Sotheby's. What?
I've seen even different companies.
Different companies, yeah.
Kelly and I were even talking about that. We've even seen different companies that are on the sell side. Like we'll see, sold persons, and they're
Yeah.
different companies. I mean, how's that?
Well, because they don't do anything. They're just thrown in the MLS. What do they care? We're the only company that does that level of marketing that we do. That's why we don't co-list with anybody else because
It's
we
not,
don't
it's
even
not allowed,
syndicate
you
it.
just don't.
gonna take it.
Sotheby's doesn't.
We don't
wanna
do it because they
your
don't even
stuff's too
syndicate it
good.
through the MLS. We only syndicate it through Sotheby's.
Right.
So we can work with other Sotheby's because we are going to be spreading it through our network. The more we spread it through Sotheby's with other Sotheby's, the better it is, right? But we're not gonna, then some other company's gonna put it with low-res photos through MLS. Why would we lower our standards? We're gonna take your home and make it look worse? Why would we do that?
I can see where you would use our in-house marketing and our level of marketing might not compare. to the
Well,
other
that's
person,
what we
so,
say.
yeah.
If they're with Sotheby's, absolutely. We co-list all the time with Sotheby's in Vancouver. We've co-listed with Sotheby's in Wellington. We've co-listed with Sotheby's. Now we're gonna do it in Maine. We co-list with Sotheby's all the time. Actually, worldwide, we did it. We're with Zurich. We work with Zurich at Sotheby's. We can do that, but if it's another company, because their level of marketing is nowhere near ours, we cannot because we have to make sure it's to our level of what we're doing.
Our standards,
Our standards, exactly. And there's nobody else who does that, so we can't. 'Cause what were they gonna bring to the table?
Well, when you have the picture of them standing with their cell phone in the mirror taking a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
gosh,
Yeah.
Kate.
Those are
Why
my
does it
favorite.
still happen?
Or the
Those are
one
my
where they're like,
favorite.
"Sneak."
So guys, we're overrunning here on the thing, so I'm gonna say, I don't know who's even still online, but I'm gonna say, thanks guys for coming. Bye, it was fun. And then